ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ממלך מלאכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We turn to page 120 with our candlelight blessing.
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו מציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat.
For those who are able, we rise together for our Kiddush 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'asei v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
We continue together at the bottom of page 127. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We turn to page 130 with Psalm 95.
לכו נרננה לאדוני נריע לצור אישנו. לכו נרננה לאדוני נריע לצור אישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך מלך גדול על כל אלוהים, אשר בידו מחקרי ארץ ותועפות הרים לו. אשר לו הים והוא עשהו, ויבשת ידיו יצרו, כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו אמר איתו וצאן ידו.
Please sing along with us on 138, the pinnacle of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi.
לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך תשמיענו, אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במקשם בתחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise together to greet Shabbat HaMelkah.
בואי ושלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
I just want to take this time to embarrass our friends that are here with us tonight. I feel like I'm back at HUC, so it's a good feeling. So this is Tzedek America, correct? It's Brian Abner, correct? It's been 10 years stand up, okay? We were in the School of Jewish Nonprofit Managed together, and 2006-07, I met then Dina Sussman at an HUC Cincinnati something. We spent our year together in Israel and 5 incredible years in Los Angeles. Rabbi Dina Berzin, she's in Nebraska, correct? 2 incredible kiddos. And returning back home to Chicago after spending, let me see how good I am. You were in Milwaukee, correct? Rachel Kaplan-Marks, Rabbi Marks, so please stand up and welcome. These are my colleagues. The last time I've seen these people, I saw Dina. It was my wedding. Was it my wedding? We're still married. Rachel's right there. Okay. It's good. We're all good. Baruch Hashem. All right. Chitzi Kaddish 144, thank you for being with us.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה בעלמא תברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל מחתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We rise together 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam ba'ed Le'olam ba'ed Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai.
We continue together at the top of page 149. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for an eternity. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim.
Amen.
On the next page.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח מחוקיך ונשמח מדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם בלילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The top of page 157, we continue together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Ami Chamocha on the next page.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות הוסף אליהם, נורא תהילות הוסף אליהם, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די.
The top of page 161 together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Al Hashkivenu right here, 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim, lechaim, lechaim.
163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Vishamru 162.
Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'torotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam le'olam ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ubayom hashmi Shabbat mai nafash.
Middle of page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. For those who are able, we rise together for our tefillah 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
The top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with our would say on the next page.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel u'tehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha El Karov Lechol Kore'ah v'nei elav Hadecha v'choneinu Shefoch ruchacha B'techezena eineinu B'shuvcha l'Tzion B'rachamim Baruch atah Adonai Hamachazir Shechinato Letzion
Tzion.
179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. Make a temperate reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. May the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We take a few moments for private meditation. Yihul ratzon imre fi, Yihul ratzon imre fi, V'hegion libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri v'goali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you. O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael me'imeru, me'imeru. Amen.
At this moment in our service, we think of those in our community, those especially who are in need of healing of body or spirit. Barbara Edelman, Ralph Amiel, Sophia Barry, Margaret Bell, Donna Berman, Harold Seitlin, Orit Cohen, Charles Crocker, Sarah Crocker, Lydia Cutler, Laura Gordon, Luna Hollett, Evelyn Mace, Richard Magnani, Stephen Muss, Ron Ostreicher, Chad Petrowski, Malka Bat Rachel, Leslie Simon, Jean Sklar, Beth Warner, Brenda Weinstein, and Jason Willard. For those who are here with us tonight, if you're thinking of a loved one, a friend, someone who means so much to you, if you wish to share their name out loud, we invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. Amen. Sylvia. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts from Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, middle of page 371.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and to let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha La'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and to let us say, Amen.
A week ago, around 10:30 in the morning Central Time, that's when we saw the first round of hostages being returned back to their families. Never in our lifetime would we imagine such a scene. Again, it's the human condition, the tears of joy, the tears of relief, and also the tears of cruelty. We especially look at the children, and we try to process what they experienced in the 45 to 51 days that they were held captive against their will. And then we also think about the families of the remaining hostages that were not part of the first 7 days. So regarding the kids, I've heard many pediatricians, many psychologists say that for the most part, young kids are resilient, that they'll, B'rat Hashem, God willing, find a way to live with their trauma, and they will able to live life. And their experience will be different than those who are much older, and we know this from the Holocaust. But during the Holocaust, especially after it, many theologians, they wondered where was God during the most difficult days of Jewish history then. And we have eyewitnesses' accounts that especially in Auschwitz, we have testimony from women that the way women treated one another, giving them their extra rations, an extra blanket, some type of maternal love. And they said it was at this moment when they were able to experience Shekhinah, God's presence within them during this, sometimes we don't have the English words, this horrid environment. And I know most of us are struggling with this theological notion as to where was God on October 7th and where is God now. And for those who've been following the news, and I know so many of us have, many of us saw the picture of Emily Hand being returned back to her father. For those who don't remember, Emily Hand's father, he's an Irish Israeli. He thought his daughter was murdered, and for that brief moment that gave him some certainty knowing that his daughter was not being held hostage. And then a few days later, he learned that his daughter was alive, being held in such a nightmare. And we saw the photo of her, pale, terrified, afraid to talk out loud. We all felt her pain, and we would do anything we could to take it away. The good news is, a couple days later, there was a beautiful photo of her finding her strength back as she tries to process life. But there's something fascinating about her experience that's worth noting. When Emily was in captivity, she talked about how her relationship with her best friend Hilla and her mother, Raya, the mother. It's because of the mom, who I believe is still being held hostage. It's the mother who was able to give her that strength. So it's very similar to the Auschwitz-Birkenau story of maternal love bringing God's presence into the world. So for Emily Hand, the way she was able to survive this ordeal was through another woman in her life, being Raya, giving her that comfort. I don't want to call it certainty, but you know where I'm going. And here we are, and the war's back on. And many of you have asked me, what do we do as a Jewish community? What can we do? What are our next steps? In addition to our incredible philanthropic donations that are going towards the Israel campaign, in addition to advocating for Israel being proud, they want action items. And as I said last week, we're not ready yet to go on the offensive because we're still in the state of shock and we haven't been able to collectively mourn. But that doesn't mean we don't stop learning and figuring out what we're supposed to do when we will be called upon to respond to the greatest injustice against the Jewish people, the total collapse of, again, Western ideals and civilization. We have to be prepared. IDF will defeat Hamas in Gaza, and I am certain of that, at a great expense. They will win. But there's another problem that Israel faces and we face. And for us to get into this fight is for us to be more aware of what is against us. So after Hamas is defeated in Gaza, yes, I'm concerned more than ever about Hezbollah. Yes, Iran. But our concern, the spotlight, must be on Qatar. Qatar. Because right now in Qatar, 4 of Hamas's leadership are housed in the Ritz-Carlton, billionaires. And my concern is that once they know they'll lose Gaza, they know they're able to seize Judea and Samaria or the West Bank. 7 out of 10 Palestinians supported October 7th. 8 out of 10 Palestinians heavily support Hamas. There's a reason why Mahmoud Abbas, Abu Mazen, he's been president or chairman for 18 years in his first term of office, because if he were to hold elections, he would lose to the Speaker of the House, who is a member of the Hamas party. So for me, once the Gaza war is over, are we prepared what's going to happen in Judea and Samaria? Because people want to know, why are we facing so much Jew hatred abroad, on college campuses? Why is the United Nations and their gender violence absolutely silent regarding the gender-based violence against women, the rape in Israel? That, my friends, is Qatar. Qatar houses Al Jazeera, which is one of the worst forms of propaganda in the Arab world, adding gasoline to fire. It is Qatar who is heavily funding the Human Rights Watch, an organization that has been absolutely appalling toward Israel. It is Qatar who holds so many financial positions of grocery stores and businesses in Europe, hotels in this country, and here is why we have so much silence from universities: the amount of money the Qataris are putting into university endowments with the greatest PR firm in order for them to look good. Around 10 years ago, when FIFA, the World Cup, was going to tell us which country was going to host the World Cup. This is a big deal. Huge economics, great for the country. I remember President Obama came in with a huge delegation. David Beckham with David Cameron came in with a huge declaration, and there was Qatar. Everyone knew that they were not going to get it. How could Qatar, a country that has legalized slave labor, how could they get the World Cup? They got it. The amount of people that were murdered from building these stadiums, it was the Qataris. The greatest gaslight that we are seeing. So if we want to respond, we have to turn the spotlight on the Qataris. It's okay. Second, I hope it's someone good. I'm just kidding. No Avirat committed. We don't say for high holidays, I'll hit Shachatanu for cell phones going off. I promise you. But for second, diasporic Jews, especially in this country, have got to have an honest conversation with ourselves. And during Yontif, I talked about the systematic agenda in this country to remove Jews from the public sector. We have less Jews holding office. We have less Jews being appointed to nonprofit boards, less Jews in corporate America. We know for a fact that more Jews got into universities during the quota system than Jews are getting in today, because there's a systematic agenda to remove Jews from the public center based on this idea that one who became successful must have oppressed someone else. This is the ideology. One who became successful, their success must come at the expense of oppressing others. They look at Jews post-1945, Jews who have celebrated meritocracy of working hard. They look at Israel, a country 75 years young, again through merit and skill of finding a way to be successful. This is the ideology that has been plaguing universities for a couple decades. And it's time that we as American Jews, we shed a spotlight on this and say, this is unacceptable. For the past week, my wife has been sending emails to me from the University of Michigan, Hillel. The students were on the verge of basically having a referendum. Do you like Jews or you do not like Jews? That was it. And due to some unethical computer breach, the university canceled the election. That's a shanda in itself. There's absolutely no way that such an election, such a vote should have ever taken place in the ivory tower. But why, we ask, why was University of Michigan, where was the faculty, where was the administration to allow such a vote to take place or an election? And keep in mind, this is the same university that employed Professor Leopold, who refused to write a letter of recommendation for a young woman to study in Israel. What happened to him? His sabbatical was delayed. So again, what are we going to do? University of Michigan has an $18.2 million budget towards diversity, equity, and inclusion officers. And we know through incredible data from focus groups, through foundations, that we know that diversity, equity, inclusion officers have a total obsession for Jews. This is part of the problem. So for us to go on the offensive, it requires us to look at who our friends are and those entities who are harming the Jewish people. If people want to know why we have such contemporary Jew hatred, it's all part of the horseshoe. Right wing, left wing, it's all in the middle. It's all making Jews the total other. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, we're going to look back and say, what do we do at this most pivotal moment in our lives? Do we go back to thinking that optics or social credit score are more important than our kin, than our people? And for me, as I judge myself and what I did at the worst moment in my Jewish history life, it's time we recognize the things that have been plaguing us. It's going to take Israel years to recover from this tragedy. And what they need more than ever is a diasporic Judaism, a diasporic Jewish community that isn't just Reformed, conservative, Orthodox, Republican, Democrat. We're Jews. We were at that Sinai moment together. It is time for us to pivot. It is time for us to change ways, and it's going to be difficult. But if us to go on the offensive requires us to change our mindset. All of Israel is responsible for one another in order to fulfill the mitzvot. I want to make sure that my children, your great-grandchildren, grandchildren, our future generations have a formidable Judaism in the diaspora for years to come. We are obligated, we are commanded to change. Shabbat Shalom. We rise together, Elenu 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Ivan K. Black, Henry H. Bowman, Frank Brook, Daniel Canzanero, Brian Cohen, Evelyn A. Klatz, Fred Friedman, Joan Goldman, Donald B. Goldstein Sr., Jeanette Goldstein, Esther Grafman, James Hameson, Bernard Eric Hannon, Jimmy Hewell, Russell Hudson, Benjamin Jaffe, Bertha Goldner Kahn, Max Kalinsky, Joe Cantor, Leo Kaiser Sr., Marion Leaf, Marvin Link, Carl Moran, Rachel Bat Miriam, David Bud Meadows, Joseph J. Morris, Richard Reese, Luther Roper, Florence Rudner, Selma Sachs, Margaret Goldberg Salloway, Ruby Seitel, Celia L. Sherry, Sally Tampson Hill Slate, Sarah Rogoff Sokol, David Solomon, Samuel Solomon, Sarah Staff, Mina H. Stern, Rebecca Stern, Seymour S. Warren, Dr. Roland Weinzer, Ellis Weinstein, and Sadie Yanak on our heartfelt condolences in the recent passing of Maxine Meltzer-Lerner, mother of Carol Minnisman. We rise together as a united congregation on Moraj Kaddish 598. Yikadal, Vikadash, Shemei Rabbah, Bielma Divrach, Yotev, Yamlich Malchute, B'chayechon, U'Biomechon, U'Chaye, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'Galah, Vizman Kariv, Vimru,
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabbah, Mevarach, Le'alam U'Lamei Maya, Yiparach, V'Yishtabach, V'Pa'ar, V'Tromam, V'Tnaseh, V'Tadar, V'Talev, V'Talal, Shemei Kudsha,
Brichu.
Le'ela Mikol Birchata V'Shirata, Tushbechata V'Nechemata, Da'amiran V'Elma V'Yimru,
Amen.
Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chaim Aleinu V'El Kol Yisrael, V'Yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'El Kol Yisrael, V'Yimru, Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, me'imeru, amen.
We conclude praying for hope, Hatikva 678.
Kol palevav penima, nefesh Yehudi homia, alfatei mizrach kadima, Ayin leTzion Sophia, Od lo avda tikvateinu, Hatikva bat shnot alpayim, Liotam chofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Tzion v'Yerushalayim, Liotam chofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Tzion v'Yerushalayim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
You got a haircut. You did it? What?
This guy is trying to get 2,500 people to Virginia, not Virginia, for the
releasing the footage?
No, I don't know anything about it.
All right, and do you want to do it, or is anybody calling to you? Do you want to come? I gotta ask the consul.
Let me know.
All right, think about it, okay?
Okay.
Hold on, Ezra.